Hey there, planners. Today on the Planning Annie Productivity Podcast, we are talking about creative cycles. What are they? How can you recognize them? And how can you harness their power and energy to help you be your most productive? So go grab your planners and let's get planning. Creativity and productivity are very closely related concepts. And so today we're going to talk about creative cycles. What are they and how we can use them to help us be more productive? Before I dive right in, I do want to welcome those of you who are new to the Planning Annie Productivity Podcast. These podcasts are more focused on the audio than the video, so please feel free to multitask during this episode. Here at Planning Annie, we are a community of planning and productivity enthusiasts. We love our planning systems. We love nailing a to-do list and getting all the right things done while also keeping our health and well-being a priority. If that sounds like you, we hope that you will consider subscribing and becoming a permanent part of our community. For those of you returning, welcome back. I am so excited to dive into this topic. I have always been curious about how creativity and productivity work hand in hand, and after doing some research and some testing on my own, I'm excited to share with you what I have been learning about creative cycles. So let's talk a minute about how creativity and productivity are connected. They often complement each other in different ways. And here are some aspects of that relationship. So think about problem solving. Creative thinking helps you to approach problems from different perspectives, leads you to more innovative solutions. So when creativity is integrated into productivity, it can actually enhance your problem solving skills and have much more efficient and effective outcomes than just the standardized thinking and problem solving. Creativity is the driving force behind innovation, and that experimentation helps you come up with new and innovative ideas. Engaging in creative activities actually boosts your motivation and your overall satisfaction with whatever you're doing. So when you incorporate some creativity into your day-to-day work, you're going to feel more inspired, and that will lead to doing things more efficiently and effectively because you're enjoying what you're doing. Creativity fosters a flexible mindset that's open to new ideas and adaptable to change, and that can lead to increased productivity since you or teams of people are better equipped to respond to the challenges and the changing circumstances that are pretty much inevitable in every area of life. Creativity thrives in collaborative environments where you and others are bringing diverse perspectives and ideas. So collaborative efforts will often be more productive than individual efforts because you're getting a lot more hands-on minds engaged in solving the problem. Creativity encourages you to think about things in a continuous improvement standpoint. So you're always looking for the next creative way to get better at what you're doing. And productivity can be enhanced when you are motivated to find that better, more efficient way to accomplish a task or a goal or to get things done. And finally, engaging in creative activities or creative thinking allows you to explore your potential that you may not have tapped into yet. And this equates to personal growth for you, which can be very exciting and make you more productive. So creativity and productivity are very interconnected. It is important to strike a balance. Too much focus on creativity without effective planning and implementation can really become unproductive. However, overemphasizing productivity at the expense of creativity can hinder those long-term innovation and growth. So finding that balance between the two is really important, and that's where creative cycles come in. All right, so what are creative cycles? Creative cycles refer to a reoccurring pattern or stages that individuals go through during the process of generating and executing creative ideas. So there are specifics which can vary a little bit, but there are some common elements, and I want to walk through what are the common typical creative cycle stages What does it involve, and how can you harness the power of each one of these? So the first stage of the creative cycle is preparation. This is where you are collecting data, researching, really getting into the subject matter. It creates that foundation for the creative process. You are defining the problem or the goal so that you clearly understand what is needed for effective creative thinking. And one of the ways that you can harness this stage, this preparation stage, is to give yourself permission and space, time on the calendar or in your day to fully immerse yourself in this subject matter. Read about it, research it, explore diverse perspectives, ask others for information or feedback, watch films or documentaries. Really build a strong foundation in this subject matter so that you can clearly articulate the problem or the goal that you're addressing and ensure that you have a thorough understanding before moving forward in the creative cycle. So that's the first stage of preparation. The second stage is called incubation. The incubation creative cycle involves, after that, all of that initial preparation and information gathering, your mind continues to work on this problem in the background. This stage can involve kind of stepping away a bit and allowing your subconscious mind to process the information that you've gathered. You can explore the various possibilities and the potential solutions during this stage. You can do a lot of what-if analysis in your mind. The way to fully harness the incubation stage of the creative cycle is to step away. So consciously step away from what you've been researching and deep diving into and just allow yourself to relax and engage in activities that are unrelated to this area. And this really gives you the opportunity to embrace the exploration and generate a variety of ideas without judgment because you're not focused on completing the task right now. You're just giving yourself time to think about it and sort of marinate on the different aspects of what you've researched. All right, the third stage in the creative cycle is illumination or insight. And this is that aha moment when a creative solution or idea suddenly becomes clear to you. It comes to you. If you're anything like me, this probably happens in the shower or when you're driving, when you cannot write it down. I love to write things down and I love paper, so of course these moments always come when I can't. It often seems to come out of nowhere, and it is the result of the previous stage of incubation, stepping away and allowing your subconscious mind to process. And in this illumination or insight stage, you are connecting pieces of information in a new way, a creative way. Your mind is able to do that. And here's how you can harness the power of that creative stage. You want to create the right environment that encourages creativity, whether that's a quiet space for reflection or collaboration with others and brainstorming together. You want to have a way to capture information. So carry a notebook, or if you use digital tools, have that. And as things pop into your mind, make sure you are capturing those in the illumination phase. The next stage of the creative cycle is evaluation. And this is where, once you've got that aha moment, that idea, and it's been generated, it's important to really assess the feasibility, the effectiveness, the relevance. How is this idea going to solve that goal or that problem that you originally identified in the first stage? And this is where you want to refine and polish the aha moment, that creative idea that came to you. You want to make it more practical and applicable. The way you can really harness the power of the evaluation stage is to assess the feasibility, the practicality, consider all the potential challenges, and refine your concept accordingly. So maybe you want to make a pros and cons list. Maybe you want to write out different ways that you could implement that idea. Seeking feedback from others is a really great way to help you identify blind spots in the way you're thinking about it. So finding those trusted individuals folks in a community that you can share your idea with. The fifth stage in the creative cycle is elaboration and implementation. So this is where you're actually beginning to put things into action. You want to turn that idea into something tangible, whether that's a project or a product or a solution. You want to implement it by ongoing refinement and adjustment based on feedback and the real world testing. So you're actually putting it into action and seeing what happens. The way you can harness elaboration and implementation is to, bring your idea to life through prototypes or a draft or some tangible representation. You want to understand that implementation is often an iterative process. So the first thing you try is likely not going to work. You're going to have to refine it and test it out. Think about the development of any new technology. We start with that minimum viable product and then move on to more and more of what we like. So really approach elaboration and implementation in that way. Harness the energy of iteration and getting closer to what you actually want based on testing and feedback. The sixth and final phase in the creative cycle is verification. And this is where, after implementation, you are evaluating the outcomes and you're determining the success of the creative solution. And you're getting those insights from that stage to inform future creative cycles that will improve your process in the future. So the way you can really harness the power of verification is to assess your ideas, consider both, the quantitative, the numerical, as well as the qualitative, the more subjective information about your creative idea and how you tested it. And you want to use insights from this stage to help you in the future. So journaling, keeping some notes some way about, what you learned, lessons learned, what went well, what didn't, can really be helpful in the future. So it's important to note that creativity is a very dynamic and iterative process. These stages happen differently for everyone, and so maybe they aren't always happening, one right after the other in a linear fashion. Maybe they're coming at multiple times. Maybe you have multiple aha moments throughout the creative process. But hopefully this information helps to build sort of a mental model of creativity and how you might be able to apply this to your life. The way I've seen this show up most is in my goals for 2024 and how I'm setting my goals. I'm really understanding the process of, self-reflection, figuring out, deep diving into a topic, figuring out how I want to approach it, giving myself space to think about it, and really, sort of incubate on the idea, having that aha moment where I know what I think the goal statement needs to be, putting it to the test with different activities, evaluating how I'm doing, and then verifying the results. Those are all ways that I'm implementing that creative process into my life in 2024. External factors such as feedback and collaboration, all of those impact the creative process as well, and I've been able to use those too. So hopefully you are able to use that basic model of the creative cycle for yourself. If you are interested in identifying creative cycles, they involve recognizing some various stages and the process so that you know how they're showing up for you. You can look at your past experiences and consider a time when you successfully solved a problem. Think about how you did that. How did preparation, incubation, illumination, evaluation, elaboration, and verification show up in that activity? Recognize that creativity is dynamic and a journey. So how did it show up for you? Also looking at your own thought patterns. So pay attention to your thought process as you engage in creative activities. Notice when you're gathering information. Notice when you're taking breaks. When do you have those aha moments? When are you ready to implement, and how do you look back and reflect on the outcomes? Documentation is really important. So document your ideas. Keep a journal, whether it's digital or analog. Keep a journal so that you can really start to recognize those patterns, and feedback is always a great way to learn. I really hope that thinking about creative cycles and how they might help you in the aspects of productivity this year. I hope it was helpful. I'd love to hear your ideas and thoughts below. Have you had any experience with creative cycles? As I was going through the stages, did you begin to recognize some of those stages for yourself? What was your last aha moment? I would love to hear that down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this, and as always, thanks for planning with me.